Arn. Brian always comes with great questions, and he's the one, by the way, that introduced us on last week's show to that WCW book. I don't know if you remember that. He actually told me about it. I have it in my Amazon cart, but that's the guy who helped us realize that the ring didn't show up to the venue. Remember that one venue? Yeah, he pointed out the book. It's out there. But listen, he has a couple questions here. He said most of the TV tapings back in the 80s and 90s were mostly squash matches. Do you think the TV product is better with mostly enhancement matches, or when the TV tapings are filled with more stars facing each other one-on-one?
I like competitive matches, even if it's a 70-30 split with a guy that's just getting started. If he's able to have some offense and do decently well against a guy that's established, I think it helps him. I think there's a spot also on the show to squash somebody if you're trying to make a point, something lopsided. And then there's your main event matches that you put on the show. The one thing you got to be careful of, if you've got a pay-per-view main event coming up, you don't want to rub those two guys together too much, because if I've already seen it for free, what makes the pay-per-view match special or different? Perfect world, they don't touch till you get to that match. So you always have something every 3 or 4 months to point to and go, man, I have been waiting to see that for a year. If you just give everything away and hot shot everything, what's left?
Yeah, exactly. What are they paying to see then?
And it needs to be built like a special match, and it needs to pay off something. Every match on every show, TV show, doesn't need to be, I don't think, or have to be, a main event quality, pay-per-view quality match. It doesn't have to be that, nor should it.
And that's why what was always fun about the old school stuff, whether it was a run-in during an interview time or something that happened at the end of a match. It wasn't necessarily that star versus star, but it was just something to antagonize and keep that feud alive and burning hot. It always wasn't those payoff matches on every single television episode.
Well, yeah, there's nothing, nothing would get you more heat than taking a poor guy that was mismatched and just smacking him around and slapping him around and abusing him, and the whole time you're beating him up, you're calling for Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah, exactly.
Talking about degrading, and that's the way it was viewed. It wasn't viewed as a cool thing. It was viewed as, what an asshole. Yeah, well, you better hope Dusty doesn't show up, or whoever the guy was, that you were shooting, Sting, or whoever it may be.